Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from group 5. My name is Fadlika Anatama Putra and my friend is Novalina. We are going to present about translating lexical and grammatical features. Lexical and functional phrase. Lexical words all have clear meanings that you could describe to someone. There are also all nouns, which is one type of lexical word. Functional or grammatical words are the ones that it's hard to define their meanings, but they have some grammatical function in the sentence. What the difference between lexical and grammatical? Lexical meaning is dominant in content word, whereas grammatical meaning is dominant in function words, but in neither is grammatical meaning absent. Grammatical words include preposition, modals, and auxiliary verbs, pronouns, articles, conjunction, and some adverbs. Translating lexical, reconsider this. 1. Literal or from-based translations. Attempt to follow the form of the source language. Example: kamu ditunggu tadi. You were waited. Jangan berpangku tangan saja. Don't just put your hand on the other. And second, idiomatic or meaning-based translations. Make every effort to communicate the meaning of the source language text in the natural forms of the target language. Example: kamu ditunggu tadi. Idiomatic: someone was waiting for you when you were out. Jangan berpangku tangan saja. Don't just sit and do nothing. The translator goals should be to reproduce in the target language a text which communicate the same message as the source language, but using the natural grammatical and lexical tools of the target language. In order to translating idiomatic, a translator will need to make many adjustments in forms. Part of speech. Part of speech are language specific. Each language has its own division of the lexicon into classes such as nouns, verbs, adjectives, etc. Different languages will have different classes and subclasses. For example, Indonesian from the noun phrase using the noun plus adjective order, while English use adjective plus noun order. For example, rumah cantik in English, a beautiful house. Jalan rumah berliku-liku in English, a long and winding road. Pronouns. Pronominal systems vary greatly from language to language, and the translator is obligated to use the forms of the target language even though they may have very different meanings than the pronouns of the source language. If a translator is translating into Japanese, he must distinguish degree of honor even though nothing in the source language indicate these distinctions. He must understand the culture of Japanese and the cultural context of the text he is translating in order to choose correctly. For example, in English, the first person plural pronoun we is often used when the real meaning is the second person you. The reason for the use of exclusive we is to show empathy and understanding. Example: Kami minta maaf atas kesalahan kami. In English, I'd like to apologize for my mistakes. Apakah Anda baik-baik saja? In English, you are alright. Grammatical constructions. Grammatical constructions also vary between the source language and the target language. It is not uncommon the passive constructions will need to be translated with an active construction or vice versa, depending on the natural form of the target language. For example, kelas dimulai jam 7. In English, the class begin at 7 o'clock. Kepada yang terhormat, para hadirin kami persilahkan duduk. In English, ladies and gentlemen, please have a seat. Grammatical choice in the translations must be based on the function of the grammatical constructions in the target language, not on a literal rendition of a source language form. It is important to understand that there is no one translations. In order to translate, a translator must be fluent in both language source and target. These following guidelines proposed by Widya Martaya 1993 consist of some instructions on how to translate lexical and grammatical items. Verbal nouns, plurality, definite article, indefinite article, recognize subject and predicate, long and complicated sentence, reconstruct sentence. The subject in SL doesn't have to become a subject in TL. Pronoun it, to be, and other linking verbs, tenses, preposition of, and constructing effective sentence. The first is verbal nouns. To leave concrete impressions, verbal nouns with abstract concept, imbuhan pe dan akhiran an, must be avoided. Replace verbal nouns with verb untuk imbuhan me. For example, for a further elucidation of this important point, we have to turn back to what happened in Java. Translated to, untuk menerangkan hal yang penting ini lebih lanjut, kita harus kembali kepada apa yang terjadi di Pulau Jawa. Instead of penerangan lebih lanjut, it would be better if some verbal nouns in English are replaced with verb in Indonesian. Plurality. Bahasa Indonesia doesn't have nominal concord. Plural nouns in English are not necessarily translated into plural nouns in Indonesian. Reduplications. For example, few members support the movement. Translated into, tidak banyak anggota yang mendukung gerakan itu. Plural nouns are sometimes translated into 3, 100, banyak, sedikit, beberapa, para, semua, kaum, dan sekelompok.
Okay, thank you. For the next, definite article. The definite article in English, IE has the Indonesian equivalent. Nya itu tersebut tadi, the has not always translated. Example, some of the men works in the prison factory where they make mild bags, but cook often works in the field outside. Or we can translate, mereka yang bekerja di pabrik penjara tempat mereka membuat kantung-kantung surat, Cook kerap kali bekerja di ladang luar. For next, indefinite article. The indefinite articles in English are not necessarily translated. A and an are used to describe a general or conceptual nouns. For example, my mother is a teacher in a private school. We can translate into bahasa, ibu saya guru di sekolah swasta adalah seorang and sebuah. We cannot translate it. Recognize subject and predicate. Before translating for long stances must be identified for the elements. Types of sentences are simple tenses, compound tenses, complex tenses, and compound complex tenses. A. Simple tenses consists of one subject and one predicate. For example, the subject is interesting, or we can translate into bahasa mata kuliah ini menarik. The subject is subject and interesting is predicate. B. Compound tenses consists of two simple tenses combined by coordinate conjunction like and, but, or so. For example, Bali is a beautiful island and there are many visitors there. Millions of people study English, but only few succeed. And but in these tenses, this is coordinate conjunction. And C. Complex tenses. Complex tenses have more than one subject and predicate, which consists of main and subclasses. For example, the course that the student takes sometimes doesn't suit their talent and ability. Long and complicated tenses. To translate this kind of tenses, divide it into several short and separated tenses first. For example, against this background, it is difficult to explain the Indian influence and Old Javanese, which was, as we have seen, almost exclusively Sanskrit, as being the result of ordinary social context, or, in particular, as has been suggested, of intermarriage between Indonesians and foreigners of Indian origin who had established themselves either temporarily or permanently in Java. Or we can translate into bahasa. Dengan latar belakang ini, sulit untuk menjelaskan pengaruh India dalam bahasa Jawa kuno seperti yang kita lihat merupakan bahasa Sanskerta sebagai akibat dari kontak biasa atau khususnya seperti yang pernah dikemukakan sebagai akibat dari adanya kawin campur antara orang Indonesia dengan orang asing keturunan India. Reconstruct stances. Sometimes you need to reconstruct stances in translating strike and long phrases. For example, the gross commercialism and ostentatious lifestyle of many of the newly rich in modern Southeast Asia. We can translate orang kaya baru di masyarakat Asia Tenggara yang modern menganut komersialisme yang kasar dan gaya hidup yang pongah. The subject in search language doesn't have to become a subject in translating. You don't have to translate the active forms in English into Indonesian active ones. For example, Deborah leads a very easy life and always has breakfast in bed. Or we can translate into bahasa, hidup Deborah sangat enak dan sarapannya disiapkan di tempat tidur. And for the other example, those French cigarettes make a terrible smell. Or we can translate into bahasa, rokok Prancis menimbulkan bau yang menusuk. Pronoun it. Pronoun it doesn't necessarily mean itu, ini, hal ini, or hal itu in Indonesian equivalent. The pronoun can be one of the elements in the following patterns: it plus to be, plus infinitive phrase, it plus to be plus relative clause pronoun. It in those patterns should not be translated. For example, it is frightening to realize that a melted soup full of germs could destroy a whole civilization. To be and other linking verbs. It is better for you not to translate to be or other linking verbs into Indonesian translation. For example, the next step is to consider the keyword and phrases. Tenses. Indonesian doesn't recognize verbal concord and tenses, therefore verbs in the past forms or perfect tense should not be translated with the word telah as long as the context of time is clear. The future tense is not necessarily translated with the words akan, mau, or hendak when the context of time referring to the future is clear. Progressive forms do not need to be translated into sedang or tengah. For example, the car sales dropped significantly in 1998. Millions of people will feel much safer when the total ban of nuclear weapons is effective. Preposition of. Preposition of expressing possession. If possible, doesn't have to be translated into dari or daripada. Use the translation milik or kepunyaan instead. For example, the holy places of Buddhism, the tail of my cat. Preposition of in these tenses, my cat. B. Preposition of with verbal nouns. For example, the interpretation of relevant sources. Preposition of expressing limited relations. For example, faithfulness of transmission. Preposition of expressing characteristic or situation. For example, a substance of a great benefit. Constructing effective tenses. Even though you're not the author of passages or books to be translated, you must be able to express the author ideas in target language effectively. Therefore, you need to be able to construct or write effective tenses in this translation. And the characteristics of effective tenses are A. The subject and the predicate of these tenses are explicitly and clearly stated. And for example, berhubung itu mengemukakannya juga, minat baca kaum remaja semakin menurun. These tenses doesn't have a subject. B. The subject and the predicate of a tenses must be closely attached. C. The modifier shall be placed appropriately. D. Use punctuation correctly. Like for example, kita semua mengemban amanat penderitaan rakyat, harus selalu mengupayakan kesejahteraan rakyat kita baik jasmani maupun rohani. Food tenses. Sebagai pengemban amanat penderitaan rakyat, kita harus selalu mengupayakan kesejahteraan bangsa kita baik secara jasmani maupun rohani. E. Avoid ambiguity, redundancy, and hypercorrection. Like for example, dalam bahasa Indonesia tidak mengenal bentuk jamak atau pluralisme. F. Maintains coherence and cohesion. For example, atas perhatiannya saya ucapkan terima kasih. And when the use of pronouns, saya mengucapkan terima kasih atas perhatian saudara. G. Use transitional signal appropriately to show contradictory use, however, nonetheless. To show addition, use in addition, moreover, furthermore. Like for example, for instance, such as are not to show illustration. Hey, be careful of parallel structure. E. Maintain variation to liven up the language. Variation is needed. For example, active to passive forms, long and to short stances, and types of stances. For example, life for someone like Meredith was never entirely easy. become. Bagi gadis seperti Meredith, hidup tidaklah begitu mudah. D. Conform with effectively principles, for example, adalah fakta yang jelas bahwa ia tidak bersalah. In English, it is a fact that he is innocent, or that he is innocent is a clear fact. Key. Non-phrase. Non-phrase seem to dominate the elements of the sentences. Non-phrase can function as subject, object, complement, and adverb after preposition. Like for example, some students in this group perform good result. Some student in this group is subject and good is object. So non-phrase can be very long and is compact in this following order: determiner, adverb, adjective, preposition, participle, noun-head, preposition or prepositional phrase, adjective or adjective phrase, adverb, noun, noun phrase, and noun clause. I think it's enough for me, and thank you.
Okay everyone, thank you for watching. I hope this video can add to your insight. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.